is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Tuesday. This is Devils After Dark, coming to you live from the Primetime Radio studios inside the bunker in an undisclosed location in beautiful New Jersey, and down the turnpike to Dad's Studios.
Yeah.
It is Scotty, a Sirius XM Liquid Metal, streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. As the Devils drop Game 2 to the Carolina Hurricanes, losing 3-1 tonight in Raleigh. Devils down 0-2 in the series, best of 7. We've seen this before, Scotty.
Yes.
Much better effort tonight. I've got some opinions. You've got some opinions. Our fans have some opinions. But yeah, disappointing.
Disappointing, although I will say a much better effort from this team today. I thought there was a lot of good things compared to what I heard of Game 1. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But overall, I do think this was a much better effort by the team. It's just the Devils are in a tough situation with 5, regulars out of the lineup. It's not going to, or four, excuse me. It's not going to be an easy, scenario for them right now, especially against the Carolina Hurricanes team, who are just really, really good at home. So, yeah, I'm sure seeing everyone on here. Tom, I'm already agreeing with you. Mark as well on the YouTube chat. So sign in, follow up, follow, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff. And, let's talk about what's happened here in these first 2 games of this playoff series. And then I know Sam Woo's got a lot of things he wants to get off his chest. We will get to the king of the football calls in just a little bit. But yeah, I'm back in New Jersey. I made it. The road trip is finally complete. Didn't get lost on the Donner Pass in the Rocky Mountains, although I lost signal for quite some time during Game 1. Had to text Sam Woo from a gas station in Colorado saying, I think you need to go solo, bud, because I'm losing service as soon as I leave this gas station once again in the middle of the mountains.
Was it at a 7-Eleven where you got some big gulps? All right. Well, see you later.
Yeah, exactly. Expected the Rocky Mountains to be a little more rockier than this. Yeah. That John Denver's full of shit, man. And ironically, right after that, I was driving through Nebraska, and yeah.
Driving
I was
in the wrong direction, right?
I was, yeah, exactly. But anyway, made it back in Jersey. Sorry I missed Devils After Dark for Game 1. Wasn't my fault though. Was going through the middle of the mountains there. Although that game, man, at least Game 2 was not like Game 1. Mm-hmm. Okay. I only really got to hear most of the first period, and then after that I just kind of started losing reception as I was driving. But the Devils were getting slaughtered in Game 1. What was it? 17-5 in shots in the first period in Game 1.
Yeah. It was bad. It was bad.
This game was nothing like that. But either way, the Devils still don't pull out a victory. Let's talk about it. Then we'll get back to Sam Woo. But yeah, I'm at my parents' house here. This is my dad's drum studio. I'm hanging out in. Realized after I set it up that the lighting might be a little too dim in here. Forgot my little lights back in LA. So hopefully you can actually see everything that's going on here. Hello to everyone. I missed you. Ready for some playoffs. Let's talk about Game 2 here. Now the big news, obviously, Dylan, you son of a bitch. He is out. And Luke Hughes also held out as well, which is pretty surprising considering Luke did return right at the end of the game. I did hear, that's funny, because I was losing my signal, and I heard Chico on the radio call say, Luke Hughes is back, and then all of a sudden my my app feed from my Sirius XM cut into the post-game show, and I was like, oh, well, I guess the game is over, and we missed the ending there. But, Luke held out. Dylan held out. We'll see if they return to the lineup, when this series goes to New Jersey this weekend. Although I got to say, Cholowski and Nemitz, they didn't play that bad. Although, to start this game, and by the way, Tatar's Sprong is out as well. Jacob Markstrom bailed Nemitz out very early into this game, where I believe, was it Jarvis or Martin who got like right around him, and I was like, oh man, please, not another early goal for the Hurricanes here. Jacob Markstrom came up huge with that save, and then remember who called him the X Factor? Jesper Bratt gets the Devils on the board there with a great play by Dawson Mercer, and Sheldon Keefe Richards did a smart thing, kind of broke up the lines. Because when you were looking at the team, it was almost like, all right, if we can just focus in on Nico and Jesper on that top line, we can have this made. And so you needed to break those two up. And that is what Sheldon Keefe Richards did. And Jesper Bratt gets the goal. A great play by Dawson Mercer. DM gets the puck into the zone as he's falling down at the blue line, somehow keeps himself on sides. Okay, gets the puck into the zone, and then he gets another swat at it, and somehow gets a most beautiful pass right over to Eric Halla down low, who then gets a shot on net. Anderson makes the save right off the leg pad. It goes to Jesper Bratt. Boop, he chips it into the back of the net there for his first of the playoffs. Let me just see here. Coming at, when was that? 3:51 into the first period. So great start for the Devils right there. Wait a minute. How did Dawson Mercer not get an assist? Was that Dougie? No, that was Dawson Mercer. It says Dougie got the first assist. Wait a minute, Sam Woo. Maybe did I see that wrong? I could have swore it was Dawson Mercer. Maybe Dougie touched the puck. Maybe it was Dougie the one who swatted at it to get it down to Halla, I guess. Either way, Mercer made the play at the blue line, which made this all happen. Jesper Bratt snaps it into the back of the net. Devils up 1-0. And you know what? We just talked about it. Game one, Devils are getting outshot 17-5 or 17-4 in the first period. In the first 5 minutes of this game, the Devils were out shooting the Hurricanes 6-1. So you can see they were already playing 10 times better than they did in game one. The defense was working. I think they held Carolina to 28 shots in the game total? Yeah. So a Carolina Hurricanes team who puts up the most shots of any team in the league, they held to 28. So they had a much better game plan today, and they came out in the first and played really, really well. Devils got a PK, really good play, really good kill right there. Only allowed one shot on net. Kovacevic with a big monster hit. This team, once they start playing physical, they get emotional and they play a lot better. They get so much into the game. And then, I think Paul Cotter took a tripping call, and then someone else got a penalty right after. No, Cotter had the second penalty. Palat had the first. And the Devils killed both of them. And then Kovacevic and Dumoulin had a great kill on the second power play as well. So we head into the second with the Devils up 1-0. But then, the Canes came out in the second, and they looked a lot like that Carolina Hurricanes team from the first game. I thought I had it written down here. I don't, but the shots on goal in the second period were a lot 12-9. So the Devils were out shooting. They had 6 in that first 5 minutes. They had 9 total in the first period. And then all of a sudden, second period comes around, and that shot total is now even again. So the Canes were coming out with purpose, and on a broken play, they get on the board with Shane Gostisbehere. Markey tries to go down and do the old school Marty Brodeur here, flinging the legs out and stuff like that. Oh, sorry, just hit my dad's drum mic over there. Flinging the legs out, and, it was he really had no chance on it. Gostisbehere put it up high and into the back of the net there to tie it up 1-1. And then, heart attack moment over here. About 20 seconds later, the Canes just throw the puck at Jacob Markstrom, and the puck is just kind of sitting on the goal line, and Marky doesn't see it. He's going to fall backwards, but it's Brett. What am I, a clown? What am I funny to you? Pesci, who gets the stick in there and just whoop, pulls the puck back out before it crosses the goal line and tucks it underneath Markstrom to freeze it. They review the play very quickly. They say, the puck did not cross the line. Good review right there. The Devils dodge a bullet. But then Devils get a power play, and you're thinking, all right, boys, let's go. Let's get some of this power play going. Let's have these special teams come through. It's something that has been a key factor for the Devils this entire season. But today, UGH, it ends up, hurting them real bad with a shorthanded goal for the Carolina Hurricanes. Jordan Martinook gets his first of the postseason there, a 2-on-1. He's going down there with Orlov. And, man, this was a nasty shot. I mean, he ripped it high, far side, top shelf. I mean, ting, like off the inside of the crossbar and in. I mean, that was just pure nastiness right there. I don't know. I mean, of course, Jacob Markstrom's going to say that, hey, he's going to want that one back. But that was just a filthy, filthy shot there by Martinook, who ripped it, like I said, for his first of the playoffs, 2-1 Canes at 5:54. So you can see the surge, the Hurricane surge was on there in the first part of the second period. They get the goal from Gostisbehere at 2:57. They get the puck, sitting on the goal line right 20 seconds later. And then 2 minutes after that, Martinook with the shorty, it really swung the tide in the favor of the Carolina Hurricanes. And then, oh, man. The guy who was come on, Timo Meier, his first almost goal of the night, coming there in the mid-second period, and man, he missed a lot of shots tonight. There was the one, we'll get to it, but Timo, you got to hit the net, dude. Come on, you got to hit the net on some of those. The Devils get a power play. After that, nothing really happening there except on the defensive side. Nico Hischier makes a diving play with the stick out to break up a 2-on-1. And then Dougie Hamilton does the same thing about 30 seconds later. So the Canes are getting better opportunities. I think they outshot the Devils on that power play. So don't like seeing that. Paul Cotter had a good opportunity stopped. Marshall made a big save going to the left-hand side on a 2-on-1 from Stahl. Dowling, oh man, to Thomas Tatar was over by the boards. He makes a no-look backhand pass to the center slot where Dowling's there, and he tries to backhand chip it over the leg of Anderson, but no luck over there. And yeah, I will say this. The Devils withstood that surge because Carolina was coming at them with a fury in the second period. And yeah, they gave up the shorthanded goal, which really sucks. But I think in the overall, they withstood that massive surge from the Carolina Hurricanes. We come into the third. Canes ring one off the post. Nico draws a tripping penalty going through the neutral zone. And right here, twice, Timo Meier. First one, he misses the net. Second one, he got robbed by Anderson. So, man, no bueno right over there. Then we had the bouncing puck. Timo had a wide open net, but it's a bouncing puck, and it takes a bounce right over his stick. So, that one is a tough one. The bouncing puck, it's always hard to control. But he's a superstar, and it's the playoffs. This is the time that you need the superstars to come through like that. So 4 real money opportunities for Timo Meier, and he comes up empty on all 4. And then at the end of the game there, Jarvis, gets the empty net goal to put the Canes up 3-1. And the ironic thing was, faceoff is in the Canes zone. Nico Hischier wins it, but somehow who was it? It was Martinook actually comes up with the puck, spins, and then it kind of finds Jarvis, who splits the D, and he just puts it in there to the empty net. Canes win 3-1 Lots of other things to unpack here, too. Right at the end of the second period, Brett Burns decided to headbutt Timo Meyer, and right in front of the refs. And surprisingly, there was no call on that. I guess you can say on the other side of that is maybe Timo. Maybe it could have been a matching, but it was nothing. I don't know. The headbutt didn't really like that too much. But either way, the Devils played better, but not good enough. Although I will say this team, is night and day from game one. This is the type of game. The game one is what like infuriates a fan. When they lose like that. At least this game they played hard. And they did some really good things, but they came up short. And again, it's going to be hard for them to overcome all these, four major injuries. Dylan, Luke, Jack, and Siegs. You're talking about four of your big time regular players that are out of the lineup against the Carolina Hurricanes team who just is shot hungry, and they are, really, really good on their home ice. So shots on goal for the Devils, 998 for a total of 26. The Canes, 612-10 for a total of 28. Face-off percentage was Devils, they had it by 29 wins to the Canes 28. Both teams had the Jersey Everything Bagel, 0 for 3 for both of them. Devils, 51 hits in this game. I like seeing that because, like we said, when the Devils get physical, they get emotional and they get really into it. And I will say I did like Timo Meyer, getting in there and doing some rough stuff. Saw him throwing some punches. Who was it? They got some matching minors there. I think in the beginning of the second period, Stefan Nason started to mix up. Someone went after. Was it Jarvis that went after a cross-check Dougie in the hip? And then Stefan Nason stepped in. There was basically 4-on-1 until Timo came. That's when Timo came over, and then he just started throwing the jabs like that. And hey, I'm all about that. I like seeing that. 51 hits for the Devils, only 9 block shots to the Canes, 14, 15 giveaways for both teams. Devils had 8 takeaways. There were some really good block shots, though, by Nico Hischier, Dumoulin, and Brett Pesce as well on those power play opportunities for the Carolina Hurricanes. So let's hear what you think about it. Timo Meyer, for me, 4 golden opportunities that he didn't come through on. But I will say that I do think the effort, the game plan, and just, I don't know, maybe they were just way overwhelmed in that first game. But, they looked a lot better tonight. And hey, the Devils have been down 0-2 in a playoff series before, and we thought they were toast. And they ended up coming back and beating the arch rival Rangers. Well, in the playoffs and in the last 10 to 15 years, or maybe even 20 years, I guess you can say, going back to, that big Stevens hit, the Carolina Hurricanes and us, we've had quite the doozy of these playoff series, and Carolina seems to have our number in the playoffs. So this team is down, but I'm not going to count them out just yet. All right, let's hear what the great Sam Woo has to say about everything. And I'm starting to go back and look through everyone's comments here on the old YouTube page. So let's hear what you think about this Game 2 loss to the Hurricanes, 3-1.
Scotty, you know what's really disappointing? Is that game one, they basically gave the game to the Carolina Hurricanes by not showing up in the first 2 periods. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that there were nerves in with the being game one on the road and all that, but they didn't quickly adjust to the third period. They didn't quickly adjust. They waited to the third period to start the series. And what's most unfortunate of giving up game one, you give all the momentum and leverage to the Carolina Hurricanes for game two. Game two, the Devils started out great. They got a 1-0 lead out of it. They were the forecheck, the relentless pressure paid off with that first goal of the game. Devils had the momentum there. The Canes, for the first time in the series, didn't look confident But once they went to the locker room, Rod Brindamore, being the good coach he is, they adjusted. They adjusted quickly.
Yeah.
And this is a team that's a playoff veteran. They're a perennial playoff team. And that's the difference right there. They made the adjustment. They got the lead. The puck luck was on their side. Timo Meyer whiffed on 3 pucks. He whiffed back in the last playoff series as well, if you remember, at the Rock a couple times. And again, I'm not harping on Timo Meyer, but you're getting paid that much money, and you're a pillar of this team. You got to finish those. You got to finish those. And again, it's not criticizing Timo Meyer. The Devils are a lot closer in this series than what they may be down 2-0, but at the end of the day, if it wasn't for that first period, scoring wise, they're almost neck and neck. They're literally almost neck and neck with the Carolina Hurricanes. A couple empty net goals, I don't even count. If you don't count that first period, they're really dead even. Now, the Devils have a chance. If you're going to take a positive out of this game, and again, we do not, look, I think games 3 and 4, just like they did against the Rangers, there's a possibility the Devils can even this thing up. It may not look like it right now, and I'm not overly positive fan right now. Like Nemitz out there, I'm glad that Spalding and Danico think the world of him and complimented him, and I hope that helps with his trade value. But honestly, the Devils got so lucky out there. There were a couple blown assignments. He did well in a couple sequences there offensively, but the Devils got away with it, especially that penalty, that tripping penalty in the third period. They got away with it. And I'm not saying Nemitz is, at fault. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's just right now this team is right now on the blue line. You've lost 1/3 of your blue line out of nowhere in game 1. And Pesce stepped up. He stepped up. The Devils are out hitting the Kings. If you look at the statistics, and again, I'm not a numbers guy, analytics guy, but across the board, the only thing that they're not doing well in is the special teams better than the Canes. Penalty killing, I think, they're right up there with the Canes, but on the power play, they need to score more than 1 goal a game if they're going to win this series. They got to start scoring. And right now, that was kind of a problem after Jack Hughes got injured. But they're going to have to find a way. And they're that close. They had their chances in game 1. They could have caught them in the third period, but there was no room for error. This game, they were that close. And, of course, that empty net goal, again, I was talking to Mrs. Wu about it, and I'm like, I know this goes against conventional wisdom, but this is the NHL. These players are so good. 44 seconds left. Get possession first, and then just put Markstrom back there because you can easily shift them off. The sixth skater that comes on will cause so much havoc because you don't know where he's going in that sequence if you got possession. If you don't have possession, they would have gladly dumped the puck, and then the Devils had a chance to reset. But sometimes I think pulling the goalie, I know minute and a half or less, I didn't like that because in terms of face-offs, the Devils were neck and neck with Carolina.
They were. I mean, Devils had them by 29-28. So I mean, that was really even right there. And just looking at some of the comments over here, Selecta, can someone get Dave Jackson the rule book and direct him to the page on headbutting? Yeah, I don't know how that kind of, at least, I know Timo was being an agitator tonight, and that's fine. But, something should have been called there with that headbutt. So, in complete agreement there, Select. Art Heaton, Darling had a good game. Yeah, he was pretty good. Michael Descala's annoyed. We're all annoyed. Let's see. Tom agrees. Dowling's been good in both. This team is depressing. H. Jacob. That's okay. Robert Isaacson with a good point out here. Brat's second playoff career goal in 15 games. You're right. As someone who's going to be leading the offense, that's a little tough right there. That's a tough pill to swallow. So hopefully Jesper can start putting the puck in the back of the net. We know he's going to be creating plays out there for everybody else, but we also do need him to score a lot as well. Forecheck was minimal. That's another good point, Robert. After the first period there, that second period, they looked a little shell-shocked when the Canes came out there with that surge, but they did withstand it, so I'll give them that. Ted, you're right. The Canes are dynamic on offense. It looked like Rod Brindamore took them into the intermission and got their head straight, and they went back out there and, played the way they did in the first game in that second period. Corbin still believes. I'm still believing too. Jim Norton right there. Devils will take 2 Friday and Sunday. That's what I'm talking about. Mark is doubting Carolina as well, and that's fine. Thank you, Evan the Destroyer. I am home in NJ, and I hope to see a lot of you at the game, or the games, I should say, plural, in New Jersey at the Prudential Center. Yes, Sam Woo, myself, possibly the rest of the Let's Go Devils podcast crew will be along there at American Whiskey. Robert, Carolina gives you no time to breathe. That's very true. Nick Adams, they played Cholowski for 9 minutes in this game. They could have had Casey in there. That's a fair point, but I don't think Cholowski was I don't think he was a liability tonight. Like, I didn't see him really make too many. I mean, I saw a couple giveaways by, Nemitz and some out of position stuff like Sam you were mentioning, but I didn't see too much really bats. But again, I guess maybe he was only out there for 9 minutes, so maybe that's perhaps why.
I'll tell you.
Let's see.
I'll tell you what I don't know if I'm right or wrong on this.
Mm-hmm.
Freddie Anderson was playing out of his mind. I mean, we got to give credit. We got to give where credit's due. The only beef I have, and I've watched championship teams do this, like the Colorado Avalanche, the Florida Panthers specifically, and I can even say the Tampa Bay Lightning. When a goalie gets that hot, you got to drive hard in net and hit him and get him off his game.
Crash the net.
I'm not saying hurt him, but crash the net and get him off his game. Because once he's off his game, and again, with goalies, and Shorts guy will attest to it, all it takes is just irritate them just a little bit, and then it messes up the adjustment, and boom.
Yeah.
You're going to get goals. And I think
Absolutely.
at times that the Devils are just too, I don't want to say soft because they play their butts off, but sometimes they're just kind of too within the rules. Go in the gray area and just crash into them. Even if you take a penalty, what do you have to lose at that point?
Yeah. Yeah. And Mark and Art, I agree with both of you. Timo, I feel like, Timo Meyer, 4 opportunities, you got to get one of those into the back of the net. But still, I agree with you, Art, that I think Timo, he came out there and he gave it his all tonight. If you want to talk about someone mucking it up, Timo Meyer was in there mucking it up tonight. And he did a good job of that. But that's the thing, those 4 opportunities. And I get the one, I can give him a pass on that bouncing puck because it just bounced right over his stick. Okay, that's some bad puck luck right there. But he missed the net on that other one. And he missed the net, what was it, 4 times in the first game, I heard Chico saying that. So, he's coming out there and he's playing hard like he did all season. but he's got to get that puck in the back of the net. So I see both sides of that story, fellas, right there.
Yeah. Well, there was one sequence. I forgot who it was. Thank you, Mark Schwab, for the super chat. He says, "Why can we not adjust to this Canes team and Brindamore with former Canes players Pesce and Hamilton? Can you discuss this? We struggle against them. Look, where the Canes
I feel like they did. I feel like they did in the first period, and then the Canes adjusted to that. But
the third period was just bad puck luck, and that's what I feel.
I kind of that's why I also feel like the Devils may be down, but I don't feel like they're out in this series yet. If they came out this game and it was like a repeat of what happened in game one,
it's over.
Where like it was 2 periods of just, slop, and then they came back in the third, led by Nico Hischier, I would have been like, we're toast, but they came out strong in the first. Again, that shorthanded goal really hurts, really, really hurts, but it was a filthy shot by Martinook. Okay, so they kind of withstood everything that happened when Brindamore got the Kane ship righted, and they came out in the second, like a bat out of hell. The Devils, I gotta say, they withstood that, and this game was 2-1 in the third, and that's anyone's hockey game, going down the wire there. And if one of those damn Timo shots got in there, or maybe Paul Cotter's opportunity, or Dowling's, backhand attempt there on that feed from Tatar, who also, I got to say, had a strong game. I know I was critical of Tatar, through the course of the season. I thought he had a really strong game. I was surprised that Sprong came out. But Tuna, I thought he did pretty well. He did some good stuff on the PK as well.
Yeah, and to answer Mark's question, look, Brindamore's been there 7-8 years. They built the team around Rod Brindamore, and they play within a system. They lose some players. They have players in the minors that they call up and can just like interchangeable parts and buy in. Pesce and Hamilton. Look, I thought they both played a very good game today. I'm not discouraged at all. Okay, there's no moral victories here. But let's see what Carolina will do when they come back to the Rock. And the Devils have
not good on the road.
Crowd. The home crowd, the home ice, the Devils. It's really for the Devils to lose this series if they start sleepwalking and get too comfy at home. That's my only concern about taking them back home. The Devils against the Rangers. Again, I'm going to remind you, we're down 2-0 as well, and we're able to flip the narrative on it. Remember Dougie Hamilton scoring in Madison Square Garden? And he had his arms out like this. He had his arms out, and all the Ranger fans were like depressed and wanted to jump off the George Washington Bridge. That was a great moment. And the Devils can have that moment again. But
I have it written down here what Sam was just saying, and I see a couple people on the YouTube chat saying too. Chaos in front of the net. Get there and create chaos to get Anderson off his game. Sorry, go ahead, Sam. I just wanted to say.
I mean, look, when I played hockey, okay, all it takes is a little stick tap, do something in front of him. Throw snow at him. Just do anything to distract this guy. And he played out of his mind. There was one sequence where he grabbed the puck before anybody could get to it. Well, jab at him. Just don't stand there. Jab at him. Don't be classy. This guy's going to steal that Stanley Cup ring off your finger. Get him. That's all.
And you might draw a penalty as well from Carolina's defense. Then going in there, you might draw a penalty after that as well.
So, I mean, look at if they can only do what. Remember when Markstrom accidentally hit Cody Glass? It was intended for another Carolina player. They need to have that Markstrom mentality. They got to do that. They're doing everything else right in this game. It's just It's that edge that they're missing. They just need more of that. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. They're down, but they are not out. And yes, Brooke, I think that is a great idea. Don't be classy. Quoting Sam Woo. Sam Woo can become the Michael Scott of hockey quotes.
This is not golf, folks. Okay, it's hockey. It's psychological warfare. That's, the Devils, they hire these sports psychologists and all that, and I'm all for that. But don't they teach them to mess with the other opponent's heads?
Mm-hmm.
Psychological warfare. Get in Freddie's head. I mean, if you want, I'll dress like Marty Brodeur and follow him around the arena for Game 3 just to mess with his head. Do something to distract him, for crying out loud.
I mean, that's what they have to do. Because, I mean, let's face it, Freddie's been hurt a lot. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he even played back-to-back games this year. So this was like the first time he's played back-to-back games, I believe. So the Devils can do this. And listen, they got the odds stacked against them. Both Hughes out. Dylan. If I told you that the Devils are going into Game 2 and they're going to be out without Jack, Luke, Siegs, and Dylan, you would have told me that this game was probably going to be a blowout. And that the Canes were going to trounce them. And they didn't.
Scotty, did you get your
Devils
tickets?
played a lot better.
Did you get your tickets for
What's that?
Did you get your tickets for Game 3? Yeah.
I didn't yet. We're going to have to figure that out.
We're going to have to figure that out because Max is saying get seats behind Freddie and chirp him the whole game. Look, if somebody gives me tickets behind Freddie Anderson, believe me, and Shorts Guy would know, and a Beer Baron would know, I can go 60 minutes of complete nonsense to the point where even our own fans would probably kick me out.
We'll have to get you the into the Marty gear again.
You know what? I'm going to hold a sign.
The goal light hat that you used to have. I'm
going to hold a sign that said Freddie got fingered.
Jeez. Oh God.
Wasn't that a movie?
It was, yes.
Tom Green, right? It was Tom Green?
Yes, it was. Happy early birthday to Selecta there. Game 3 is on his birthday. So, now that we know that, obviously, Devils are going to pull through for Selecta. They have to. Steven Angle, I mean, I see big man in Freddie at some point, but it just happened in the playoff series. But they sweep the leg. That's right. You can with that? No, Sensei. Yes. Got to make sure Girl Scouts in attendance.
Sorry, Sky, we're losing you there. Let me just adjust.
Oh, okay.
Let me adjust your feed. No, keep on going. I'm going to adjust your feed. Sorry, I just want to let you know.
Yeah, we would got to make sure there's no Girl Scouts in attendance under the Sam Woo, but I think we can work something, and I think every Devils fan, obviously I get it. Listen, I'm bummed that they lost this game. I really thought they were going to steal one of these in Carolina, one of these games, but we got to support that in games 3 and 4 because they can still get this done.
I'm telling you, that's my mission for the next 3 days. How to get in Freddie's head. You gotta do something. You gotta do something. Whether it's throwing an egg at the Carolina Hurricanes bus, do something. Do it for the team. You got to go David Putty on this. Get a voodoo
we'll
doll.
have to come up.
Yeah,
we'll have to come up with something. Yes, maybe
I like
Sam
my Freddie
will
got
paint his
fingered
face.
sign.
Maybe Sam will paint his face like David Putty.
We're gonna have to do something, or climb the net and be a streaker and go on the ice and distract. Do something. Crying out loud, because the Devils aren't doing it.
Ronnie says that Anderson will get rest in Game 4 regardless of what happens in Game 3. Well, we'll see. We're not even there yet. And I'm right now I am on Shorts Guy's favorite James Dolan internet right now. So apologies for any of the lag that may be going on here.
No, you're good right now. I adjusted your feed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
But yeah, we definitely will be down there for games 3 and 4 at American Whiskey, and very excited to keep putting more faces with all the names that we see here on the YouTube chat. I know Sam Woo and I have been talking about this for a while. Took the nice long trek back. Have to pour one out for the insect graveyard on the grill of my truck from driving across the country on Route 80. But we're gonna be ready to rock on Friday. And yeah, I know it doesn't look the best right now, but you saw the improvement from game 1 to game 2, and if that puck just doesn't bounce over Timo's stick, this game could still be going on right now in overtime.
Yeah.
So I know it looks bad, but mark my words, this team is not out of it just yet. Not out of it.
Yeah. So follow us on X at Let's Get All's Pod. Scotty and I are going to figure out our Friday and Sunday plans for Game Day Live and Devils After Dark at American Whiskey. It could be out in the middle of the street. It could be on the 3rd floor. It could be, at the attic or actually at the bar. We're not sure yet, just because of some logistical stuff that we're working with the bar on.
We're waiting to see when the Newark police force is going to kick us off of the big stage. That's what we're trying to figure out right now.
Yeah.
And waiting to see if our man Frank the Tank, and he knows some people. He's Frank the Tank. He knows some people. He's got some friends. So we're trying to work it out to give you, the Let's Go Devils podcast listener, a great event there for a Devils playoff game. That's what we're trying to do right now. One way or another, we're going to be there. We're going to be doing some fun stuff. But whether it's inside, outside, I don't know. Is it supposed to rain or something like that too? Whatever. We don't care.
You know what?
We're going to make something happen.
We're going to make something happen. Little Birdie told me there's a huge possibility that the wives and girlfriends are going to be at American Whiskey on Friday.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll be making some new friends as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started working out,
it.
Scotty. I started working out.
I don't know. Listen, I just learned about Sam Woo and the Penn State ice cream. I'm driving across country, and Sam Woo starts telling me about Penn State ice cream, and he's like, I get the dry ice. I get a couple gallons. I throw it in there, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
I drive out and drive back.
Yeah.
So,
That'll last a couple football calls before I'm back in the doghouse. Oh.
But no, we're ready for a good time, and we hope to see you out there, because like I said, I want to put some more faces with the usernames that we see over here. Evan the Destroyer, Tom, Steven, Brooke, we know, Robert, Select. I met a lot of you before, but not everybody. Mark, you should fly in from Switzerland, Mark. That will get Timo Meyer to score. You can say, I came all the way from Switzerland to see Timo Meyer put one in the back of the net.
All right, time to hit the music.
It'll be like that. Be like that Seinfeld episode when Kramer promised that Paul O'Neill will hit 2 home runs after he gave that card away to that little kid.
Oh boy. You know what? Maybe I should dress like Mrs. Fields and hold up a sign for Freddie.
Yes.
With the goal line?
That's what should happen.
Yeah.
That's what should happen. Mrs. Fields and we'll make a Penn State ice cream costume as well. Instead of the regular ice cream, we'll have a Penn State ice cream and Mrs. Fields cookies. We need the return of Mrs. Fields to bring some lucky mojo back to the Devils. But I'm telling you, I think this game 3, I really liked the way the Devils progressed here. I like the way they withstood the Carolina Hurricanes surge. And this is one of those games where I'm like, okay, they lost, but I'm not game one is just like, what the hell are they doing? At least this game, you're like, okay, they played hard. They had some bad bounces. That shorty sucked. That was the big thing. But other than that, I liked the way the Devils played today, and they had a lot of good opportunities. They just got to get that puck in the back of the net, which they can.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Scotty,
bring back the cookie. Oh, Scotty has the tab? Oh, really, Ted? Okay. All drinks on. We'll see about that. Maybe the first round. I don't know about all of them, but maybe the first round.
if you want, Scotty, I'll dress as Mrs. Fields. You could be the ice cream.
Okay.
And if you have a guest, they could be the pretzel.
They could be the pretzel.
Anyway. All right.
Oh, man. Well, we're looking forward to it. And hopefully we're going to be talking about a playoff W come Friday night.
Yeah. We're going to have both Game Day Live and Devils After Dark at American Whiskey. Stay tuned for more details of that. Also, we'll be there for Game 4 as well. I'll make a guarantee, Scotty.
Okay.
There will be a Game 6 Friday, May 2nd. That's my guarantee.
Like it.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah. 2025 is our year. Don't know which part of 2025, but that's okay. Anyway.
We don't have to specify.
Keep your head up, folks. Till next time, let's go Devils.